Welcome to the Happy Humanoids Perspective, where your beliefs are challenged, thoughts provoked, and where you may find your happy place whether you like it or not.
And here are your hosts, Edith and Miles. Woohoo!
Woohoo! So cool. Welcome everyone to our show. We are at episode number 49 this week, and we're back in Florida after our little tour. Tonight, my name is Miles Keever, and I am an Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator, and I'm joined here by
Edith Ball, Access Consciousness Certified Facilitator as well. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our show. Tonight, we're going to talk about no risk, no obligation relationship.
That doesn't sound possible. What are you talking about? Got to be some obligation.
Yeah, was it this morning? No, not this morning. Yesterday morning, we were in Quebec and we were walking on the street, on the boardwalk, and we was, okay, what could we talk about? And it was, the first thing that came up was relationship. And we came to this idea to no risk, no obligation relationship. What would your life be if you had no obligation in your relationship? No obligation with yourself, no obligation with anybody else. And if you don't have any obligation, you're in a space of choice. Always being in a space of choice. So we're going to look at this tonight. And we're going to go and ask questions and see if we can create more ease with that possibility to be in a space of choice in a relationship. There's something interesting at the beginning. No risk, no obligation.
No risk.
Yeah. Can you talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, I like the idea of like no risk. It's almost like comical, like money back, no risk, no obligation guarantee. You know, it's like there's this idea that like relationships can be risky, or there's a lot to lose, or there's like a lot of investment, you know, like they've invested their time or their, whatever it is, you know, it's mostly our points of view that we've bought into about what relationship is. And for me, like the no risk is destroying our relationship, yours and mine, Edith, every day. Although we don't do it every day. When I think about it, you know, we do that. But there's, that's like living more in moment by moment in the 10-second increments that Gary talks about. And it creates a space of possibilities and choice. Like if you think about like the contract, no risk, no obligation, money back guarantee kind of thing, there's really, it's an easy invitation. There's not like this doom or gloom. Like if we're married, and if now there's like this obligation of what's required or whatever, or if someone signs a contract for a business opportunity or possibility with a partner, there's like this bound contract or this obligation that these two people have together. Or like if in family, you know, you've got a sister or brother or parents, like there's this sense of obligation because that they're share the same sort of DNA and blood or whatever. Those are all fixed places in which there's really a limited choice, a limited possibility. And we've looked at our relationship recently more in depth and realizing that we want to create something different, and it's different than when we first began. You know, our relationship started a certain way and it's evolved, and now it's different. And that's what the idea is, like the idea of having a no risk, no obligation relationship, if it's with your lover or your parents, hopefully not the same thing. Miles, I went there. I should have gone there. I'm so sorry. or a business partner, you know, like there's like asking questions, always asking questions and seeing what's possible and coming from that space, because there's a whole lot more fun and freedom in that. So everywhere that we are choosing the doom and gloom of contracts, whether verbal, written, or not, will you please destroy and uncreate all of those times Godzillion?
Yes, right and wrong, good and bad, puck and puddle, nine shorts, pros and beyonds. And what I've just used is the clearing statement from Access Consciousness.
Yep.
And it is, if you want to find more, it's like a magic one, we could say. It's a few words. If we put together, doesn't make any sense. But the thing is it is created energetically to bypass the mental and to go and address the energy that is there, the limitations that are there when we say words, when we ask questions. The words get activated, and we can with the when we say get activated, it seems like it's
it's like, for me, it's like there's this energy, like if I have a reaction or something, or I have some emotional, or like I have an opinion or point of view about something that we talked about, there's an energy that I have held in place that directs my choices based on that. So like if we're talking about relationships, and Edith, if you bring up some topic or you ask a question, there's a certain point of view that I have about that question that it's there. It's like floating here in front of me. And the clearing statement, right and wrong, good and bad, pot and puck, all night shorts, boys and beyonds, just disintegrates that point of view. Now I can choose it again if I want to, but at that point, when we run the clearing statement, then we have another possibility to choose something different.
Yeah. So you can find more information if you desire to have more about that on our website, or on the website theclearingstatement.com. Dane here explains it very well as well.
Yep.
So this obligation. What if you are in commitment with someone? What if you are in, you said your word to a person and you really desire to honor that, and you discover that along the way that that doesn't work for me, that doesn't create more for me. What if it would be about asking a question and go and, there in Access, there's this deal and deliver thing. If you had some kind of deal and deliver with the person, can you go back and ask the person, hey, can it be possible to shift this, to change this? Or even before going to see the person, what if it's about you asking more questions? What would create more here for me and for everyone involved? And so it's not, there are, in this reality, when people are in a commitment, it seems like they don't give themselves the choice to change. They don't give themselves the possibility, another possibility, and they will tolerate something without shifting, without asking questions, until they cannot do it anymore, until they fall, they become sick. What if there's another possibility here? Other than the obligation that is there. So, and sometimes we are in with someone, there's like some kind of this energy that we are so how can I say, connected with someone, like we have an obligation. It's like it's stronger than us. This is what we hear often. It's stronger than us. It's probably, if it's there some kind of agreement with this person, and that could be in the past life or in this lifetime. And
a contract.
Contract. So all the vows, if you live that with a person. So I invite you to use this. All the vows, oaths, swearing, cumulaties, fealties, commitment, promises, contract, blood oath that you have with this person, that keep you in this obligation mode forever and ever, for the eternity with this person, will you now uncreate and destroy it all times a godzillion.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and puck, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah, that's not a no risk, no obligation contract. That's the other kind where it's chains and shackles and lots of obligation. So what you just talked about.
Yeah, and by saying that, by running that process, will give probably more freedom, more possibility of another kind of action, of another kind of possibility.
Shifts the energy so there's something else that appears that we can't see, that was there all along. Yeah, there's like this obligation, like we talked about the obligation of about not having another choice, or not being stuck in this obligation to fulfill the contract or to fulfill something from a past life or whatever, if you believe that. And I wonder how much of the, now this is kind of sneaky, but how much of this obligation are we using to maintain the relationship? And why would we want to maintain a relationship? It's like there's something about security. There's something about knowing what is. There's something about like the idea of safety. If it doesn't change, it's like, I know what to expect. This person is this way to me and whatever. Well, at least I know what to expect if I were to choose something different. What if I got something worse? Or whatever those justifications are for not allowing to have another possibility. And yeah, so it's like there seems to be using, like, hiding behind obligation as a way to stay small, as a way to not show up for what you could truly be. And how much of that are we doing with our relationships, say, let's say with our bosses or something, if you have a boss that you work for, or a lover, or if it's your parents, like there's some obligation that you're maintaining this obligation so that your parents will, whatever it is, respect you, or not upset them, or try to fulfill their belief in how families should be. It's like, so not to upset the circle or whatever that is. And what would be greater possibility for you and for someone else to step out of that obligation and to choose something for you and for us, choose something for ourselves that will create more possibility, and maybe break apart the foundation that's built upon. So everywhere that we're hiding behind the stone wall of obligation as a way to not choose the life that we could truly choose and be more happy and having more fun, will you please destroy and uncreate all of those times a godzillion?
Yes, right and wrong, good and bad, fucking pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. We were listening today. We were participating in a webinar with Zoominar with Blossom from Access, and they were talking about this thing about working from a space of enthusiasm and joy, and choosing whatever will create enthusiasm in your life and joy. And for me, it was like, oh my God, it seems so hard to choose this. And then I realized, wow, instead of just choosing it, I'm choosing it from obligation. I have to be enthusiastic. I have to be joy. Is it your case? Are you functioning from obligation with yourself or with others? This sense of obligation. So everywhere, if it's the case, everywhere you function from this energy of you have to, of obligation, well, and create and destroy it all times a godzillion. Right,
wrong, good and bad, pot and puck, all night shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah, we seem like there's this, well, I'll just say it's easy to live our lives through the definitions of our relationships with our families or with our business partners or friends or lovers or whatever, and keeping that, like Gary talks about, relationships is the distance between two things or two beings or whatever. So as having the idea of relationship is keeping my distance, like having knowing where I am in relationship to my friends, or knowing certain things I can be a certain way. Those are all kind of like contracts that we've bought into, that, I can't be this way around these people because they wouldn't accept that, or they maybe wouldn't acknowledge me or whatever. And there's some awareness to that, and there's also what is it that you're not choosing, that if you would choose it would shift, not so much to try to change people around you necessarily, but just to liberate yourself to choose what you more of who you be, because it's like these obligations of what relationship mean, the dynamics between knowing the distance between myself and my family, or myself and Edith, and myself and my friends. Those are all like structured, fixed, linear ways in which I can relate, and it doesn't allow for anything to fluctuate. It doesn't allow for anything to expand. And I know my role in that scenario. Those are all obligations that I've chosen in the past to fulfill. And what would your life be like today if you were allowing yourself to be in a relationship, or to be with people with no obligation on how to be? Just be more of who you be. And I think that probably comes with time. We become more of who we be over time. So everything that doesn't allow you to be who you truly be in a relation or with people for all eternity with no point of view, will you destroy and uncreate all that timeless Godzillion, please?
Yes. Right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. And what is this relationship with yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have obligation? Are there obligation you put on yourself? Do you live through obligation with yourself? Like, do you force yourself to have a certain body, to have a certain look, a certain appearance? Do you force yourself to have that kind of attitude in front of people? Or do you force yourself to have a certain lifestyle?
Mm-hmm.
But it's so heavy for you that it doesn't mean anything. That's the thing. If you try to live through this reality, through the standard of this reality, there's a lot of you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to be like this, you have to behave like that. And what does that create in your life? I invite you to ask you this question. What does that create in your life if you continue to live your life the way you live it? Is it time for you to choose for you instead of through the obligation? And there's something, as you said before, when you stop living from obligation, it seems like we live through the standard of someone else.
Mm.
We live through, is it the parents? Is it like the school teacher, the priest, whatever? Or from another past, from a past life? And it requires us, when we choose for ourselves, to choose and take the risk to, hey, what if I make a mistake? What if hey, you can choose something else after that if it doesn't work for you.
No risk guarantee.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all about, you can choose for 10 seconds. You can choose, and then if it doesn't work for you, you can choose something else and come back to whatever you were. What if you realize, yeah, that was an obligation, and at the same time, well, maybe I'm not ready, or whatever. It can be, you know. It's about allowing you to play with the idea. It's allowing you to try to do something else, to do something different if it doesn't work for you, and explore and ask questions and follow. Of course, if you do it through consciousness, it's about asking questions. What would create more for me here? What would it take for me to know, be, perceive, and receive? What will what will create more for me, or what will be light for me? That can be another question, because if you're in a situation where it's heavy, and you live your life through this heaviness for all your life, and choosing lightness can be something like, what is this? So yeah, it's about asking questions about that. So everywhere you function from heaviness, and you concluded that that was the way to live your life on earth. And that's the way it is, and there's no other way around. Well, you know, and create and destroy it all times the Godzillion.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pocket on shorts, boys and beyonds. There's so much in just relationship. We could do like a 10-week series just on relationships and the different aspects of relationships. And Gary talks a lot about relationships, you know, and how, like, the sort of the dynamics of them and what we create, and a lot of crap from that. And really, it is just being in a relationship with yourself and how to have that point of view of choosing for you. And no matter what, it's not like being, I guess it's being like stubborn with yourself, like choosing for you, not giving yourself up for anyone or anything else. Don't give yourself up for anyone or anything, and sticking with that. Like if it's like, if you desire me to, if I wanted to go do something or do a workshop or whatever, to go and do that, that's something that in a lot of relationships that may not be a possibility or may not be an option on the table. Like there's this idea of relationship being like this intertwined, sort of meshed together, where there's no definition of where one person begins and the other person ends. There's just like this sort of ball of energy. That's like the idea of love and relationship. And what if it's not that? What if it's maybe this evolution of this energy of each person and their contribution to each other, and they don't have to try to fit into the other person's idea of what they want, or either one. I mean, I have my distinctive characteristics that sometimes get on Edith's nerves, and she does too. And we also
I
have
do this.
oh well,
I do this.
I said it just for the show, just to balance it out. In this reality, there's got to be a balance. So I want to stay within this reality. And so there's this great contribution that she has and I have together, and we have our separate lives, and we're not like meshed together and like this whole thing. And by destroying and uncreating our relationship, it gives another possibility. So there's a sense. Well, so everywhere that we've bought into the lie of this reality, that love and relationship go together and they're the same thing. And that means sharing everything and doing everything together. And whatever that is, like that icky, sticky, no separation idea, will you please destroy and uncreate all of that times a godzillion?
Yes, right and wrong, even that, talking about all nine shorts, bows, and beyonds. And when Miles mentioned to destroy and uncreate a relationship, it's not about divorce or self-divorce from each other, and it's about the energetic dynamic that is there. We destroy and uncreate whatever is there in order for us to live our relationship at another level. And what if it's about doing this in a relationship that works or in a relationship that doesn't work? Because what if you can receive much more than whatever is there, even if it works? Yeah. So, and I talk about, we talk about the obligation you impose on yourself, but are there obligations that you impose on others because you're in a relationship with them?
Right.
Like, do they have to think a certain way? I remember Gary saying that friends are people who have the same kind of judgment. And look at your friend. Look at the people in your life, and do you have some kind of judgment that are the same, that like points of view that are the same with this person?
Yeah.
And when people evolve, that they don't have the same friend, it seems like it doesn't fit. That doesn't, like, something is not as harmonious. Yeah. So what if it's about that? Yeah. So when your relationship with someone, are there some obligation you impose on others? Do they have to behave a certain way? That's another way. Or do they have to wear certain kind of clothes? For some people, it's so important the way that that they look, that the person they are with, it has an impact. It's, in my word, it's weird. But for people, it seems like it's a point of view where they hold on to, in which they hold on to, and hey, it's a point of view. Or if they do a specific work, there are people who will choose their friend from what they do in life. So it's not about you becoming wrong about the choices you make. It's just about becoming aware. Hey, do I put obligation on people around me? And how much it does that work for you? Is it light or heavy to have that in your life? And if it's light, cool, wow. And if it's heavy, well, I invite you to another possibility. This is what you choose for you. And so everywhere you believe that to be in a relationship with someone else, you had to impose your obligation to another person in order for you to identify yourself to something, to be someone in this reality, eh? Well, create and destroy it all times a godzillion.
Yes, right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock on shorts, boys and beyonds. Yeah, there's also this is probably a biggie, a big time biggie, is the obligation to being wrong. Like this reality is so much fixed on making ourselves wrong or making other people wrong or making situations wrong, and like trying to defend against being wrong or trying to prove that we're right. There's this dynamic of being right or wrong and getting stuck in that this reality. And so it's like there's so much of that. It's like this obligation in this reality to follow that pattern of finding where we're wrong and try to fix it instead of just choosing something else. How many times have you made yourself wrong today, and how much of that is an obligation that you're fulfilling of this reality? What if there was no obligation there's no obligation, there's no justification, there's nothing that encourages you to make yourself wrong? What if making yourself wrong was really wrong? What if it was like something that created, which it does, it creates this spiraling down of energy. What if we were to become aware of that and how it impacts it seeps into like every little crack. It's like the insidious water or something that just gets to in every little corner of our being if we allow that. What if there was no obligation to being wrong? What if wrongness was just an illusion? And what if that's true? So everywhere that we're making ourselves wrong to fulfill the obligation of this reality, of the wrongness of me, as a way to exist and to fit in this reality, we destroy and uncreate all of that times a godzillion, please.
Yes, right and wrong, good and bad, puck and pot, all nine shorts, bows and beyonds. And this idea or this function, sometimes people function from this being wrong. Yeah. What is the payoff? What is the payoff for you to being wrong? Is it, well, when I am wrong, this is where I choose different? This is when I am wrong at a certain level of intensity of wrongness of me. This is where I will make different choices that will shift my life. Mm-hmm. Are you waiting for that? Are you waiting to attain this level of intensity of wrongness of you before choosing something else? What if you could choose it now? Whoa. Yeah, so everything that is, create and destroy it all times a godzillion.
Yes, right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock on shorts, boys, beyonds. Yeah, there's almost like this relationship with wrongness that we have. We have this that we're keeping. That's interesting, like keeping the distance between myself and wrongness and seeing where that is and how do I relate and how do I view the world based on my distance between myself and wrongness? How do I correct my direction based on where I am with wrongness in the world with different things, whether it's relationship or finance or health or anything that we choose to be wrong about, the food choices, whatever. It's always like this meter, this gauge that we're looking at as the relationship of wrongness, and where am I along this pattern? Am I closer to being right about if I choose this food? Is it closer to being right, or is it closer to being wrong? It's like it's not. There's an obligation here of like staying within this pattern of right and wrong, and it doesn't. It's like it's just a point of view. It's just a restricted judgment that doesn't allow us to choose something because, hey, it might be fun, or hey, my body wants to eat this, or hey, it might just be something different, and who knows what will happen. And which, interesting, we'll talk about this another time about chaos and order. I think that's going to be a very interesting topic. I'm sure will come up in the future podcast. So everywhere that we've bought into this relationship of wrongness and rightness, we destroy and uncreate all that times Godzillion and choose for you. And everything that doesn't allow that, we destroy and uncreate all that times Godzillion.
Yes, right and wrong, good and bad, puck and putt, all nine shorts, blows and beyonds. What if being in a relationship of no risk, no obligation relationship was about choosing?
Yeah.
Choosing, being aware, being present, and choosing for you. Whatever works for you for the next 10 seconds. And and everything that doesn't allow you this freedom, this possibility, will and create and destroy it all times a Godzillion.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and puck on his shorts, boys and meows. Yeah, and get a sense of what that feels like. Get a sense of that in your body about choosing for you with no point of view and not choosing from the wrongness of you or the rightness of you in relationship. You get when you're saying that, I just got this sense of lightness about just choosing, just choice. And there's such a lightness with that. There's such a freedom with that. There's not the heaviness of the obligations and the judgments and all the things that we do to make ourselves wrong in relationship. What if it's just choosing by moment, by moment, by moment? And just, I like that. I like that energy. So, so that's our podcast. Do you have any last comments you would like to say?
Yeah, what if it's about, it's becoming aware, I'm choosing from obligation. And if it's the case and you cannot choose anything else, or you want it this way, just allow you to be in that space and have no point of view. It's not about becoming perfect here. It's about, this is where you desire to be, to go, to live from, a space of no obligation, no risk relationship. And the thing is, what if it's a process? It's not something that that would be awesome if you can do it in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
Get your own podcast.
What would it take? What chaos can we instill here to,
exactly.
to live our life from the space of freedom and possibilities for all eternity to every moment of our life. And everything that doesn't allow that will create and destroy it all times a Godzillion.
Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and puck on his shorts, boys and beyonds.
Yeah.
Yep. Hey, thanks for joining us tonight, and we will see you again next week with another topic on access consciousness and the tools and how we use them.
Yes.
Take care, and we'll see you again next time.
Thanks for listening, and please give us a honk of support by subscribing, commenting, and sharing the show with your friends. Or, if you didn't like the show, please share it with your enemies.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.